Welcome to Psychic Holistic Spotlight. I'm your host, Josie Way, and today co-hosting with me is Ken Demers and Kathy Medeiros. And I'm thrilled to announce a favorite guest. It's been a while since she's been here, Chris McCullough. Now, since she was here last, she's been doing more things. She has you can locate her at Tarot Party Newport or Soul Wisdom Tarot. She now has 1.99% books on tarot. The Holistic Tarot and the Steampunk Workbook is on its way to the publisher. She's been doing tarot readings and mediumship psychic readings since she was 17. She studied shamanism. She has a master's in holistic counseling and expressive arts from Salve Regina. She's a labyrinth facilitator. She's a non-denominational celebrant, which means she could marry you in a non-traditional ceremony. She's a certified master Reiki teacher and Karuna Reiki 1, 2, and Karuna Reiki. She reads at the Damari.
She's a what? Karuna?
Karuna Reiki. She reads monthly at Damari Seafood Bar and Bistro for a little fun while you're having dinner. And she'll be at the Newport Mystical Society Psychic Fair in the end of July, the 25th. And on top of this, she's an actor in Newport Murder Mysteries. The other thing she does is mindfulness meditation, body talk 1 and 2, Bach flower remedies, and spiritual astrology and crystal healing. How about a well-rounded woman?
Well, aside
Holistic.
from what you just described, I think I got a better way of summing it up. She's like me. She's a paranormal groupie. There's no such thing as the best in psychic field, but she's got to be right up to the very upper crust.
Well, you are too kind, honestly.
No,
Thank you
I am
so
truthful.
much. Thank you so much.
I know so many people, and you're a head above most of them.
Well, thank
And
you so much.
very well educated in, you're not just into the metaphysical, but you're well educated.
Thank you, Josie.
If you have your favorite rock,
Yeah.
you can go see her, and she can talk to rocks, which is kind of neat.
And plants. Don't forget the plants kingdom.
Oh,
Stone Kingdom and Plant Kingdom. We talk to them all.
Do they have a very restricted viewpoint on things, or are they more cosmic?
They're way cosmic. They don't have a restricted viewpoint at all.
I don't
It's all
know.
one Earth. It's all one Gaia. It's all one people. We're all connected. It's all interconnected.
What's an example of something kind of neat that a rock would have said to you?
I could tell you a story about taking a bunch of crystals to Canyon de Chelly. This is when I was studying with Oshina, and accompanying a friend of mine who was doing ceremony up there. We took crystals and crystal balls and all sorts of things to do ceremony. And then it was time to go, and the park was closing, and so we started down the trail, and forgot some of our things up at the top. And all of a sudden, we hear this voice saying, wait a minute, you forgot me. I don't have any bleeping legs, Hold on. And so we turn around and we're like, what the heck is that? And so.
Who heard it? Just you?
No,
or other
both of
people?
us.
Oh, okay.
I could try to tell you about the plants too, but this was particularly the stones. You asked about the stones.
Yeah.
And sure enough, we had forgotten some of the stones up there. Well, they don't have any bleeping legs, so you got to carry them with you.
And they wanted to stay with you.
They
Yes.
wanted to come, yes.
They liked your energy.
I'm particularly interested in crystals, and
As I know you are.
I happen to have one on tonight. What fascinates me is that they seem to have interstellar wisdom to some of them. Have you ever?
Well, that would make sense too, seeing that we're all made of cosmic dust, and that's what formed them in the first place, is the alchemical confluence of interstellar dust and the creative juices of the earth plane. Yeah, they've got power. Native Americans said they had power since day one. You know, you talk to the stone people will talk back to you. The stone people have purpose. So you have to sort of cultivate their purpose and find the right way to address them and address the energy that they have and how it can positively heal other people.
Now, I remember a year or two ago that you used to be very active in the Native American educating people about Native American ways.
I
didn't hear that in what she was reading off.
I recently had some...
About the shamanic studies, I did.
I recently had some shamanic classes when we had the Women's Well in Portsmouth. I had a shamanic apprenticeship. I had 2 of them in the past 2 years, and those are a continuous study course. It's sort of coming together, sort of like a salon, coming together, learning, then taking everything out and practicing it and coming together and sharing, which is the way I learned with Oshina, and it's a traditional Native American way to learn, is, you know, a lot of it is you learn the basics and you self-study and self-develop. So I had 2 of those, but the Women's Well closed about 4 months ago. So again, I'm sort of...
What was the Women's Well?
Oh, the Women's Well was the last holistic center that I worked with Kerry Maroney. It was at the Benjamin Church complex in Portsmouth.
Where do you work out of now?
Right now, I'm a gypsy. I'm looking for a van, and I'm going to embrace my inner gypsy at 66 because I've been that way all my life. Why not?
Okay.
Yeah. So, you know.
Now, how do your apprentices use your teachings?
Well, some of them have gone on to study herbalism. Kerry wants to be a nurse practitioner, so she wants to integrate shamanic wisdom and herbal wisdom with traditional nursing practices, especially midwifery. Others simply do it ceremonially for themselves. Others, you know, it's an integrative, it's a way of life. It's not...
Did it help develop their psychic abilities?
I'd say those
gifts?
who apply themselves to it, yes. Yes, very much so.
Meaning most people take it as a hobby but not really work at it?
Yeah, I mean, that's okay.
We know people like that.
Everyone is enlightened.
It's all growth and evolution.
Exactly.
Whether you take it out or just use it within, either way, you're helping the world.
Absolutely.
Okay. Oh, we have this wonderful card
Yes.
up in front of us that I don't know if anybody can see because
This board.
This board. On it, we have steampunk tarot.
And even
Okay.
better, holistic tarot.
I don't even know what steampunk tarot is.
Well, let me tell you the story behind that initially. My son went to Mass Art, and as
He went to what?
Massachusetts College of Art in
Okay.
Boston. And my daughter's been an illustrator, artist, and actress forever. And they collaborated on creating a tarot deck for me for Christmas one year.
Oh,
And that
custom
is-
made.
Custom made, and that's the Mask Tarot. And subsequently, they've created decks, and they do all the comic book conventions up and down the East Coast and all the way to Houston. And they've taken their tarot on the road. And so they were finding people like them and bought them, but then they were saying, well, how do you use them? So I said, well, let me write a book. So I wrote the Holistic Tarot in response to that, to explain to people how to understand the tarot, how to use it, how to become a spiritual reader. And I used theirs as an example because why not self-promote my kids? Had to give, they got to fly sometime. So then they came up with the steampunk version. And again, they said, well, I'm taking it out on the road and it's successful. but nobody knows how to use it. So I'm going to publish. If I had not been sick in the last 2 weeks, I would have come out sooner. But I'm going to publish the steampunk workbook.
What is steampunk?
Steampunk represents a dystopian world that is a hybrid between, say, Victorian, think Jules Verne. So there's airships, there's lighter than airships, there's clockwork, there's robotics, there's mad scientists doing things with alchemy and flasks.
So it's like a fantasy.
It's like a fantasy world, but then you meld that
With Victorian.
with not only Victorian, but sort of advanced. Like, so this, when you think of Victorian era, they were on the cutting edge of industry. That was the beginning of our shift socially from an agrarian to an industrial society, really. And in many ways, and I make this point in my workbook, it's very much reflective of now. We have robotics. We have scientists working with the genome, right? We still have a military. And we have the 1% and the 99%. Represented in the steampunk world as the clockworks, people who can replace their parts with hybrids, and then the wrenches, who are the working class. So it's really kind of funny. It's a hybrid that really reflects what we're going through right now.
So who assigned the values to the cards? Your children or you?
Me.
So they did the pictures more or less,
Yes.
and you said, okay, this card represents this.
You got to understand, my kids have been around me since day one, right? And I've been reading cards since I was 17. So, yeah, they sort
How
of
old
know.
are they now?
30 and 33.
The last time I saw them, I think they were about 10.
Yeah. So I think it was just second nature for them. They know what the cards mean. They know how to read the cards. They just care more about art. So that's where they are. But so they know what its 78 card tarot deck is like and what it means, the moon, the sun, the different suits. They just took their imagination and went another step.
And once you assign a meaning to it, that's the meaning.
Well, it's an intention,
It's
too.
an intention, yeah. That's,
Well, basically, once you decide what something is going to represent, the intention that you put into that card,
Okay.
the meaning of it, that's in the future, when you use those cards, that's the meaning that's going to come to you.
No, because the one thing that in both books that I point out is tarot is a multi-layered, dimensional, thank you, multi-dimensional, holistic, integrative process. So yes, you have the image, so much like in expressive arts, color and image and what's in that image means something. And there are people who are visual, who just riff on that visual. They go into the picture and they come back with information. They time travel that way.
Yeah.
Then there's the auditory. Someone is saying something to you, so whether we're receiving it from divine source, however you want to put it.
When
and
somebody's
we-
looking at the card, they're getting it auditory.
Yeah, and so you get an auditory and then you deliver it to your client in a verbal form. So this is another sensory feedback. We have the visual sensory, we have the auditory sensory. And then there's the kinesthetic aspect. When you shuffle the cards, just the action of shuffling is meditative. It puts you in a zone. It puts the reader in a zone, it puts the receiver in a zone, and in that sort of cauldron or vortex of shared experience, the universe opens up and reveals what could be. So it's a holistic process. So yes, the cards traditionally mean something. They've meant something since you could say A.E. Waite, the originator of the Rider-Waite deck,
Rider, yeah.
decided that this is what these said. But there's more complexity to this than that.
So it could mean like one thing to one person, but something
Yes.
completely
Oh, yeah.
different for another
Absolutely.
person. But the client will still get what they need to know. in that
Exactly.
session.
Exactly.
So,
So this is a multi-layer on the part of the reader who's opening to divine source, and it's multi-layered on the part of the recipient.
Now, all the born-agains tell me about the stuff that you do, and you're directly connected up to the really nasty stuff. Right?
What?
The Satanistic side of the cards and all that.
Who said
Oh,
that?
just-
The born
well,
agains.
I don't think so.
Just tarot has a reputation of being darker, and it all has to do with who's doing the reading.
I know that.
And
But-
in this case, it goes beyond that to where the inspiration came in the first place. It came from divine inspiration.
Well, what I was looking for when I said that was for her to go into a little bit of an explanation that it really wasn't.
Well, it isn't. No, I think that any type of power can be turned to the light or the dark, okay? That's the choice. When I talk in both books about someone becoming more than a reader, a spiritual guide, and that's based on a lot of experience. And I think what recipients have to realize, or the clients need to realize, we've all heard stories about the people that rip people off, that say, I'll cut off the head of a
met 'em.
chicken and get the curse off you, or, here's this Dumbo's magic feather could cost you $1,000 and the curse will be lifted, all that baloney. We create our own curses. As human beings, we have free will. We can create our own vortex of negativity. So there is that, okay? If you believe it, it is true.
If you want to draw it to yourself, you're
Yes.
capable of doing that.
Absolutely. So it's very easy for people, because mostly people who are in distress, who are confused, who need guidance, come to readers. So, it's easy for somebody who is unscrupulous to take advantage of that. But then we see people who take advantage of their political power, people who take advantage of their
Yeah.
station,
in every
et cetera, et
industry.
cetera.
Yeah.
So there is that aspect of it. But if you realize, first of all, as the recipient, that you have free will, this is the big thing
Yep.
that nobody says anything about normally. You have the choice to take this information in, to process it, and then act upon it or not act upon it. That's nobody's fault but your own.
It's options.
It's options. As the reader, you have a choice to simply read, and that's okay. You learn, you read, you just interpret what you see in front of you. Or you move to the next step as being that spiritual guide, which means you have to, come from integrity. You have to see this as really a blessed divine responsibility, because you have that ability to alter someone's journey or someone's mind, and you need to be vigilant that your recipient isn't giving over their responsibility to you.
Giving away their power.
Giving away their power. You almost, if you're going to be the teacher, if you're going to be the spiritual guide, if you're really going to read with integrity, then you have to be anchored in your worldview. And it's your responsibility to deeply listen to your client and hear the subtext of what they need, and then encourage them to cultivate co-creation with the universe. And that is their power. It has nothing to do with you. They walk out the door, God bless them. Or Goddess bless them, as the case may be.
One of the things I used to like to go to readers, just especially if I don't know them and they don't know me. And when you go walking into some of these places, they're going to have pictures of all different bishops from all different religions, and they got the Buddha and they got the Christ and they got all different religions. So that's the first key, is that they're going to try and tie you into one of these, that they're working with that divine energy.
Not necessarily.
No, these are the bad guys that are doing this.
No.
That's what I
beg
found.
to differ, Ken, because my father, when he passed away, God bless him, my father had this statue of the child infant of Prague. Not too many, unless
Of
you're
who?
Prague in
Okay.
Poland, or Warsaw, or someplace like that. Anyway, not too many people know about him unless you're a Catholicophile. All right, so my father had, now this is my growing up. First of all, my father was extremely psychic, but he's a French-Canadian Catholic. He's not going to talk about it. But he had this from his mother, and it was hung about with medals. I mean, he's got a Star of David, One of his friends had a Arabic symbol. I mean, he's got all these different medals and rosaries and blah, 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 blah. Now, of course, when he passed away, my brothers and sisters say, here, you take it. So I have the Infant of Prague, but then I have been gifted to me from my friends in Egypt a Horus and an Isis, which I treasure. I have on that table, I call it my God table. I have Swami Bob, you know Swami Shivananda. He's passed away too. But he gifted me with a beautiful picture of Lakshmi and Krishna. I have my grandmother's crucifix. I have all these things.
But
They
you have
all
them for a
represent-
very different reason than these people have.
Okay, but, all right, yeah, probably. But
I wouldn't judge.
But I wouldn't judge. Yeah, I wouldn't judge.
I wouldn't judge. You don't know.
So you can't
No,
say.
the ones that I went to had them to convince people that they're really on their side when they were trying to swindle money out of people. I had them, we're going to say prayers for you, it's X number of dollars. Oh, you've got this, somebody's done this, and you got to do this.
Yeah, those
Almost
little-
in
yeah,
the,
there are
in-
people like that.
Always, they had the trappings of many different religions that they would figure out what you were, and then they would try and tie it into that.
Oh.
I've
Well,
had
very,
I've
very
had
different
quite a
from what
few
you were talking
readings in
about.
my life, and I've never, maybe because my intention was to trust and honor the whole process of having a reading, I've never had anybody try and take advantage of me. Never.
Maybe
have a couple
maybe I look
times.
more gullible.
My experience was the, I went to a lady to just see how she was though, but she told me I had a curse of,
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember what she said, the demon of fear and the demon of, I forgot what the other one was, but she wanted $1,000. I'm like, I don't have the money for that, so I didn't do that. But I've had most of my readings have been really, really good, and some are a little bit off, some were really good, because I'm not an easy read. I don't know why that is though, but it's just been tough, for a lot of people to read me. But what I wanted to ask you too though, is when you read for somebody and they don't want to hear what you have to say, how would you handle that?
Well, again, that's my job. And this, again, what happened eventually, like I've been reading longer than I've been a holistic counselor. But one of the valuable lessons, which I put in both books again, that I learned about being a counselor, is that people want some form of guidance. They want to be led. However, my duty is to open a door or open a road and say, the universe is your co-creator. Make a choice based on your heart, your gut, whatever you want to call it, your intuition, your dreams. Trust it, and then co-create, okay? So, I never read about death and dying. If someone asks me about like a relative who may be very ill, we can look at their health. Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
We can look at something like that. In fact, I just had a client from Washington State who called me, and 3 years ago was the last time I read for her. And I read that if her husband didn't care for himself, because I named his ailments, that he probably, looking at numerology, he probably would release himself from this planet in 3 years, and sure enough, he did. So she reconnected with me to find out her next steps. But so I think creator and the person choose their time to leave the planet. I mean, my mother passed away in my car as I'm taking her to the doctors at a crossroads, which is very traditional in Wicca, where there was this white statue of Jesus on the corner in front of St. Matthew's Church. If anyone knows Cranston, they know it. And she took a breath, had a massive heart attack, and left the building because she kept telling me she didn't want to go to the hospital. So, and she was 95. God
She
bless
wasn't
her.
going to the
She wasn't
hospital.
going to the hospital, right. So you choose and pick your time,
Yeah.
right? But again, notice your words, right? Notice the words they used. The person said the demon of fear. Okay. Immediately when you say the word demon, devil, again, we've been trained to this. We've been trained to
Yeah.
this since the Middle Ages, okay? When you use those types of words, they're charged. And you immediately get this little ping inside that says, danger, Will Robinson, danger, danger. Okay? So again, your hair is up on end, you're listening, and you're afraid.
Yeah.
It puts you immediately in fear.
It does, yeah.
Okay? So again, the reader's responsibility is to choose their words carefully, just like a good counselor would. Because your job is not to decide for the person. You know, I don't want to take over anyone's life. I got enough of my own, thank you. But it's to put them on the right path and then allow them to fly.
Yeah.
So you can say, okay, at the end of this 78 card reading, here's the door. Here's where you're headed for. Do you like that journey? Okay, and if you don't like that journey,
You can change it.
let's come back to the beginning and change it. What do you want
Yeah.
to change about it? That's the real question.
Yeah.
And that's the real skill. And you get there as a reader from deep listening, which is a holistic
Right.
skill.
Yeah.
You know?
A true reading that would talk about fear would say, I see a shadow of fear in your life that's affecting you. And these are some of the things,
Yeah, that's
these are
not as
some of
harsh.
the areas where it's affecting you. You need to look at these fears.
Yes, exactly. And you need to address them. And again, clues can be found in astrology, clues can be found in your numerology, clues can be found in your dreams, your signs, your signals. There's a lot, when I do an integrative reading with a client, it encompasses all of that. Because if I feel I need to find out, oh, we're in a blue moon in Sagittarius and you're having this problem, well, where's Sagittarius in your planets? Where's Sagittarius in your astrology? So I may go to look at where that planet is and how it's affecting their thoughts, their feelings, and their actions.
I need to interrupt you in mid-word. I need to say thank you to everybody. We're down to the last few minutes. And I need to say thank you to our guest, and to all of our audience for being with us. Thank you, Ken, for being with us. Thank you, Kathy.
Do we have any time left?
We still have some time left, and I didn't want to.
Should
we need to. Now you can finish.
Oh, I had finished. Go ahead.
No, but we need to know how to contact you.
Do that quick.
Well, you can contact me through www.soulwisdomhealing.com or tarotpartynewport.com. And you can also call at 401-847-6551.
Okay.
Leave a clear message. I will return your call.
Maybe.
If it's clear, yeah, she'll return the call.
Should people, Mr. Public out there, should they endeavor to try and learn how to read tarot cards?
It's, everyone has a way into the spiritual world. It's not all the same. Tarot can bring a lot of understanding. It's very hard to read for yourself because we're not very objective. When it comes to being objective about your own problems, I go to see somebody else myself. But it doesn't hurt. Certainly can help to create a worldview and to create some sort of guidance.
But it's fairly simple first step towards trying to develop a psychic.
Certainly, certainly, because the more you work in any field, the more you work in any direction, any one of those ways in, meditation, yoga, shamanism, numerology, you name it, it's a way into opening your connection with the universe.
What are
I
you
know
doing
Kathy
next?
found that with doing readings.
Yeah, I'm
And she
I'm
reads-
an angel card reader. And
Wonderful.
Yeah, I actually don't read the traditional way. I go through the entire deck.
I do the entire deck too.
Do you? Okay, good. I'm not the only one that does that, though. I'm glad. But I just the 3 cards and the 5 card spread doesn't work for me that way. So, and I find it more accurate that way for people.
What skill are you going to develop next?
My next book is about alternative weddings.
No.
No?
Not
What
book.
skill are you working
What
on?
skill? I don't know. Maybe I'll do parasailing. I can.
No, paranormal skill.
Oh, paranormal skill.
Parasailing isn't paranormal.
It should soar, but
There you go. Bingo. Ken, I don't know. It depends on what comes along. Quite honestly, It's all good. It's all good. Maybe fire walking.
We've done that. That's fun.
Yeah. We'll go back to that.
Yeah, fire walking sounds good. I can recommend someone
Okay.
who's very good at that.
We still haven't had somebody on here for a walk.
We did last year.
A firework person? Oh, I must have missed that one. I don't catch them all.